surprise for you. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if I'm on your radar at all, but I'm one of the vendors downstairs. I have to be one for character.
Oh.
So for the past couple of years or so, I've been able to give you one of these.
Oh my gosh.
It happens to be a gigantic blanket full of sweet.
No.
Just me, that's what I love.
Yes.
Oh, I've seen my friends out of
Yeah.
these. Oh, they're so, oh my gosh, that's awesome, man. Thanks.
You'll be warm on the flight home.
94, is that
94
all?
of them?
Could
Yeah.
you not have gone to 100?
I could have, but they wouldn't have been as high quality. So.
I tried to send him one, he wouldn't
Dude,
let me.
thank you so much. Bob dude, it's literally dude, wow.
Yeah, that's me.
Nice.
It's lit, man.
And I also tossed you one of these because I
Wow, thank you so much. Oh man, this is awesome. Thank you.
That's
Dude,
really cool.
This is so soft too, like.
Yeah.
This
She
is,
was,
this is adorable
coveting
and
one
essential, actually.
somewhere
Oh, yeah?
that was made out of the same stuff.
Yes, so nice.
Well, your character's been like paying my rent for like 2 years, so.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
me. Anyways, if you ever get a vendor hall trip, come find me. I'll come talk to you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, that's all I needed to do. So.
Peace out, Bob.
Later, guys.
Cool.
All right, you ready?
Come on.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, press session. You all know the drill. So, nice and casual, basically, as we like to say, have at it.
I don't know the drill.
I don't
No.
know the drill.
We're making up the drill.
Have at it. That's what the drill is. Okay.
Yeah, the
have
drill
at
is
it.
have at it.
I know the press doesn't know either. We just go, we'll leave us roll with it.
Yeah.
Roll with it. Yeah.
This is all about current events, right? We're
Yes.
talk about
Yes.
Trump and Charlotte.
No.
No.
No, if a celebrity wants to put a personal opinion, they gotta go on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's the rule now.
Oh, okay.
That's
Okay.
true, yeah. So who's up?
So far, the questions are difficult.
Yeah,
They're
no,
tough.
Yeah.
yes. Very.
Um,
Can't answer that
I
one.
don't know.
Okay, well, if you guys want a difficult question. So, when it came to, for the fathers, when it came to the roles, you guys played at the show, did they come to you or came to them? Because, I know that, your daughters were there from originally and, you guys kind of had parts afterwards, you guys had your parts. So did they come to you or did you go to them saying, hey, we would like to have a voice in the show and all that?
we never go to them saying, I'd like to have a voice in the show. Maybe you do.
I do.
I
Yeah,
know all the
but
time.
I had a part in the show before my daughter did, so I was Mr. Cake before Gab Seed showed up, and doing some other roles. But they just send out the sides, and our agents get auditions for roles. And if I feel I'm appropriate to read for something, I send in a read or go into audition for it. And I got a part on the show just like everyone else does it the exact same way. Same with Brynna a couple of years later when Bab Seed was being cast. A breakdown goes out, and it's a young girl with a slight New York accent, and she auditioned for it, and they picked her from whoever else read for it. So it had nothing to do with family members being on the show, her getting the role or me getting the role.
Yeah, that's the same story as us, except opposite. I was on the show first, and then being auditioned regularly.
And I'm not so sure if it didn't have anything to do with her already being on the show.
Did you whine a lot?
Yeah. Oh, I whine all the time.
Okay, yeah.
And I think it was a mercy casting. Oh, fine.
Give them one.
Give them one. Are you happy now? Not really. Want some more? So yeah, ours is the opposite story. But you rarely. I mean, unless you know. Oh man, I remember those days. Unless you know people within the production and the actual decision makers, the producers.
Yeah.
There's very little chance that you can go, hey, can you
Throw me a
get
part.
in there,
Even
throw me
then,
a
like,
bone?
you
Yeah.
could get asked to do a part that you don't even really have to audition for, but normally, like, that doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
As much
Unless
as
it's
we
your
like.
show and you're
Exactly.
making it, and
Yeah.
then you got some pull. But it's it's a really common misconception that we are offered roles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or
because
that
we're like
we.
so good at
Yeah.
something.
No, it's
There's
always-
tons of little ones that were probably given on the show.
Yeah,
That,
once
that
you're in
everybody,
it.
once you're
Right.
in it, like Mr. Cake, auditioned for, and Filthy Rich, auditioned for, and Ahuizotl, some of the main ones that had a few more episodes I auditioned for. But there's all these little parts where everybody knows there's some character,
Yeah,
this
like
doctor or that
background
guy,
cameo.
but they had one or two lines, and they'll throw you those while you're on the show. So those ones we don't technically audition for. I happen to be a guy that's in the episode, Brian, can you do this security guard pony? And I'm like, okay, what does he want him to sound like? And I'll throw a line out, and now he's like, he's
Yeah, those are
That, yeah.
bonus
Those are
golden ones.
bonus
'cause
That's how I
yeah.
ended
think
up as a
it's just-
Wonderbolt. I had no idea.
Ah.
And then someone was like, "Is this you?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess it is."
Yes, it is. You're wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones, those are fun too.
Yeah.
More questions?
I guess, I don't know if you would answer this right, but how would the family dynamic work, especially, like raising a child when they're in the show business compared to, not being in show business, like, I guess one of us.
Well, you guys need to come to a panel in about
Yes.
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Yeah,
That's-
we're going to be talking all about parenting and kids.
And it's like 4 families, obviously, with the Kriegers and the Peters and us and Corlett.
And everyone's story is going to be a little bit different.
Yep.
But I think, well, except for maybe one exception on today's panel, I think almost universally we as parents say no first. Kind of like, nah, not really.
Yeah.
Except voice is a little kinder career choice, voice acting,
Yeah.
because it's not so personalized to your physicality, which you might imagine. I mean, we've all heard the Hollywood horror stories of little girls and like just terrible judging and critiquing, which is valid when you're looking at a TV role or a movie role. I mean, it's all about what you look like. And sometimes you can be a fantastic actor, and that just doesn't matter if your hair doesn't match the person who's going to play your sister, And there's a lot of rejection, but it's really personalized. Whereas in voice, it's made the best actor win.
Yeah, you can be butt ugly and just do all.
I mean, look at us.
Look what's going on up here. No, you too, sorry.
I
Look
did
what's
show up
going
in
on
my
here.
pajamas.
Yeah, we'll talk a ton about that at this panel at 11:45 to 12:45. It's going to be interesting because, like Ian said, there's a lot of similarities to all the stories, but a few differences too as to how the kids got started and how the parents got started and what we feel about it. And it'll be fun, but check it out.
Ian, as of right now, you've only done 1 episode of the show. You hope to,
Thanks for bringing that up.
You're welcome. Do you hope to do any more episodes in the future?
Yeah, that's all. Every night I go to bed, I pray. First thing, one more MLP episode, just one more. People are forgetting who Silver Shill is. Kind of like a check.
I
Oh, I know, because you're a princess. My little girl, Hiawatha.
don't know what that word means.
It's an Indian princess because you've got 3
Oh.
and your braids.
Is that my cape?
Yeah.
This is so soft.
Claire, how did you go from not singing for your character Sweet Belle to eventually being able to sing for her?
You mean like the story behind it, or do you mean like emotions?
The story behind it, because from what I understand, Michelle Krieger was originally the singing voice for Sweet Belle, and then
Yeah.
you eventually were able to do it on your own.
Yeah. I guess me as a 7, 8-year-old singer was like so bad that they just couldn't have me, so they got someone else to do it, and then and then eventually they were all like, she's not that bad, and then about season 4. I think Heart's the Strongest Horses was the first song I did, and then since then I've been singing for my character, which is really fun, and I love working with Daniel. He's like so easy. I think we just have like something that clicks with us. But yeah, I don't really know what the decision behind that was.
Well,
I think-
because Michelle is a ringer. I mean, she's just so good.
Yeah, exactly. But the transition between me not singing and then me suddenly singing, they said, I don't know if this is the real thing, but they said when Michelle sings, we can't tell the difference between your 2 characters, so we need you back. And then I'm like, oh, well, we also sound really similar too. Like Michelle and I's voice are just kind of in the same range, not in singing, but like in speaking as well.
It's really
And
fun
then-
when they're both in the same house.
Yeah, you're like, who's screaming now?
Because it is all screaming.
Yeah, but they said like they were having trouble animating something, and I think there was actually a song, the Babseed song, I think was they animated like a strong accent, because Michelle was singing for both my characters, and they mixed up Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle.
I was wondering where that sounded off, actually.
And like, I think my character had an accent at some point, and they were like, huh,
What's going on
that's
here?
weird.
And,
But,
and
yeah.
from behind the scenes, there's also a financial aspect to this, because if they're paying an actor to do another role, that's another payment. Whereas if you can get the same actor to do their songs, then it's just one payment.
Yeah.
So it's like they were doubling their costs by having
Someone else sing it.
someone else sing for her character. So that may be a factor as well.
Yeah. Also, the audition song to be able to sing in the first place was Respect.
Oh, that was
And I was like,
yeah.
terrible.
I don't know what this song is as an 8-year-old kid.
Remember that?
And I had to
Your
sing.
house was
Yeah.
probably doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
My daughter, Ashlyn, who was auditioning at the same
Right.
time for when the Key American Crusaders were coming out, and this like Respect, Aretha Franklin is what they wanted to sing like. 8-year-olds? And I'm sure Michelle was the
And of
only one who
course-
probably knocked it out of the park. Everyone else is like,
Yeah, full
Yeah.
production. I did this last night. No
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
easy.
yeah, it was crazy.
So weird.
So it wasn't Pistols at Dawn.
Pardon?
So it wasn't Pistols at Dawn. That decided whether you and Michelle sang.
Oh, no.
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 No, but there was a kneecap incident. Claire's good for the wrench. And, when someone hobbles in, sometimes they just can't perform. They're all high on codeine or whatever.
Straight to the larynx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone remember Sonia Hardy?
Yeah.
How was it?
So basically, when you actually did start singing, rather when they asked you to start singing your roles, did they still make you go through the audition thing, or did they?
No.
They didn't.
No.
Switched it up.
They actually.
They did, didn't
Um,
they? Well, this is a side point. I'll remind you, you can tell the story, but you had to reread.
Oh, at some point they just threw in a real big fear factor and got us, I think all of us, to re-audition for our parts, and we were like, what is going on here? And I'm like, oh my gosh. And they played my original, it was like 4 years later or something, and they played my original voice demo, which of course was like, I sounded like I was just born. It was so high, and I was like, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do that again. So I just like tried my best to like really get to the highest range possible of my voice.
Yeah.
And then, we all got our characters back. Nobody was like,
Well, it's great that they actually kept you guys on. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's very typical
Yeah.
to recast. Like if they
Yeah.
want to keep the little kid voices for those three, they might have at this point been recast 2 or 3 times by now with voice matches.
And at that
could be-
point-
It's
I think
more
we've already-
often with boys. That's almost an automatic.
That
Yeah.
that actually happened with the German dub with Spike. They had one voice actor for like about up to season 4. So basically, they kind of had it weird because it was like a 1 year delay between the English original and the German release for that one. But around EQG3 and beginning of season 5, because they did EQG3 first and then season 5, and they brought in a totally new guy for Spike, and
So it was an actual
It was-
boy.
it was a boy?
yeah,
grew
no,
up, so-
it was an actual guy, but the voice just completely changed. It was
Huh.
like this. It was
Jarring.
it was like this really more. I want to see more like a almost older teenage boy voice, and then it went down to like this really high pitched kind of
Oh,
that's pretty
Oh.
funny.
almost effeminate guy voice.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was a really jarring thing to hear that in that one there, but I do understand that guy's.
I'm just interested in the fact that you're watching all the German episodes.
I know.
Yeah.
I
You were
gotta get
jarred
on
by that. I was
I want to see that.
9.
Brian,
Yeah.
you do what seems to be a lot of incidental voices, or just characters just seem to pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to actually just come up with not only a voice, but the character within a matter of minutes?
Well, and it's not in a matter of minutes in most cases. Like I said, a lot of the main ones like Filthy Rich or Sheriff Silver Star, Seabreeze, those ones, I'd audition for all those. So I sent in stuff and you come up with it, and they chose my voice out of whoever else auditioned for them. The only ones that are sort of come up with something right now are usually the little 1 or 2 line small things. And, we'll just ask the director, ask Terry, what is this? And sometimes he doesn't even know, and he'll ask the animators, what's this guy look like, this security guard or this other, Thunderbolt or what, what do they look like? And is it a young guy, teenage guy, big guy, you want a deep voice? So they're like, that's sometimes Big Jim or whoever, they're like, I don't know, just make them whatever, and then I'll do a voice like, no, that sounds too much like Filthy Rich, and I'll do another one, that sounds a bit like Mr. Cake, and you put an accent on and do something, then...
How far away is Ian?
Yeah, can you call Ian? Yeah. So we just play around for like 5 minutes and come up with something that works, and they're like, good enough, and away we go. Yeah, and that's sort of typical with probably everybody that gets something. They don't want you to sound too much like something else you've done, and but close enough to an idea of what they think the character would be.
Does anyone in the cast ever get to fully improvise, like dialogue, your full line?
There's not a lot of improvising on.
No.
Almost any show, you can fudge a little bit
Yeah.
to make something more comfortable, but there's not a whole lot of improv.
Especially on this show, I don't.
Yeah, this one's pretty.
This one's pretty
buttoned
tight
down.
to script. You just play around with the words. You're like, can we do another one with as written?
Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah, they indulge you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Go ahead,
yeah,
sure,
was
try
good,
that.
That was good. Let's do one more, just
Not
exactly as written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only time you really get to like improv a line is probably when you're doing walla or like background
Yeah.
cheering or shouting or booing or something.
And then you can insert your indie messages to the children of America.
No.
Go
I
back.
remember-
Go back and rewatch everything. Listen really closely.
I'm not saying I thought I heard someone yell college dad.
Oh, you
Balls.
probably,
College dad, yeah.
probably. We used to.
Might have
There was
been me.
one
Sorry.
in the old days, and I can't remember where it originated, but someone would scream, "There's a lobster loose!"
Yeah.
Where's that from
Yeah, I don't
originally,
know.
though?
Was that Tabitha or somebody?
Well, it was a reference. I think it
Yeah.
happened in a movie, or there was some.
Don't you mean like a moose or something? Like they see a moose somewhere? Wasn't that?
No, there was a lobster
the
loose in the
line-
background wall.
The
There's a
line
lobster
was,
loose.
there's a lobster loose, and it was from something else, and I don't know what it was, but it was really funny to us, even if you didn't know the reference, because clearly I don't. And someone would like just shove it in the wall every once in a while. Mine was a really relaxed guy going, what? And
What is this background for?
just whatever.
Wherever you
crowd
have
scenes.
walla,
Oh,
anywhere.
Any
you just
crowd
throw it.
scenes.
Crowd
It,
scene.
makes it interesting for
Yeah.
me.
The animators are like, what the heck?
What's going on here?
Like, dude,
And,
What?
and sometimes if you do it good enough, poorly, they'll ask you to excuse yourself. Ian, would you just sit
Just
down?
sit down for this
Sit down.
wall.
Oh, really? Oh.
That used to happen to me all the time. They're like, all the adults in the room, you can be a part of this. And I was like, oh.
Aw.
And then I sit down.
Now
You
you
took my
can
workshop.
What?
You took my workshop.
Brynna, your character has also been featured in the comics as well. What were your thoughts of her adventures in the comic book series, or have you not read them?
I have not read them, and I didn't know that there was comic books until I think a couple of years ago. I was at one of the conventions, and then somebody showed me a comic book for me to sign. I was like, "What? This exists!" And apparently, there's a couple other ones, and I had no idea Babs was even in the comics. It was very exciting that there's more of Babs, and I hope she comes back into the show as well. She's in the comic book, so.
And
Yeah.
did you guys see the Black Griffin Babs? What was
Babs
the
Seed song
Babs
last
Seed
night?
song last night.
At the concert?
At the
The
concert?
concert?
Oh,
Yeah.
super fun.
It was really good.
Yeah?
Really, really good. Well, not you.
Oh.
And how would you do this? Would you go out on me?
Yep, got 5 minutes. Yeah,
5 minutes?
it's winding down.
Okay. I just had it.
Take your time.
Yep.
TikTok.
Thank you.
No pressure, no pressure.
What was your reaction when you found out that your character's cutie mark was actually a pair of scissors to be like a barber or a hairdresser?
I was really surprised. Again, I found this out at a convention. Somebody asked me, "How do you feel about this cutie mark?" And I said, "What? This has happened?" Because Babs wasn't actually in that episode. They got like a letter saying, "Oh, Babs has her cutie mark." So there was no reason for my voice to be in that episode. So I was like looking it up. Oh my gosh, this has happened, and it was very exciting, but also kind of surprising to just hear from fans this has already happened. And yeah, it was cool. And I know they brought it up in the episode that it's because Babs is always sort of moving her hair, so sort of hinting at maybe being a hairstylist. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I thought that'd be cool. So.
She needs to cut those bangs.
I know. They're really making a point about that.
This one's for Brynna and Claire, but the parents can join in too. Can we talk about the dynamics of a society in which newly marked ponies, just like these young ponies with their new cutie marks, send pictures of their butts to each other to like compare, like, hey, look what I got.
Do they have phones in Equestria?
Yeah, how did they send pictures of their butts?
Maybe it's complicated.
They give them the
Like,
spikes.
stand-up things, curtain over.
Maybe they like write a letter and they get someone to like sketch it for them.
They draw it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know.
Okay, we'll
Cellular.
go over there.
I know.
Do they actually do that, or do they just like send a letter like, "Yo, this happened.
Dearest friend.
Dearest friend, I'm sending you a photo of my butt."
My hind quarter.
I don't know. My thoughts on that are,
They're
no.
ponies. Pony butts are different than human butts, so.
Yeah,
I feel like
it's-
maybe
mean,
they just prance around
Yeah,
and
they're open.
kind of show it off. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because everyone can see it. This is there, really.
true.
Yeah.
And then when someone
No
wears
secrets.
clothes, it's kind of weird.
It's not like a tramp stamp or anything, really. That would be a different
Is that
thing.
is this what we're talking about? I think I missed the point of this whole show.
That's what a cutie mark is.
All the ladies get a tramp stamp.
Slight concern.
The men do tramp stamps too.
Yeah, they do
Sure,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Going back though to what we were talking about earlier, has there been any other things that fans have informed you of that you had no idea of? Like, you know, things that have happened, like what you mentioned before with Babseed's cutie mark. Has there been any other instances where fans have approached you and said, "Hey, this sort of thing has happened over here. Did you know about that?"
This
And-
con, I'm hearing some weird stuff about Double Diamond. I'm telling you, it's
What's
coming.
that?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Him and Party Favor, I don't know what's going on, but there's all kinds of stories. So
Oh, like,
yeah,
oh.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Moving on. there's one of the first conventions I ever went to. Everyone, it's kind of on the same lines as that. Someone was like, "Do you know what button mash is?" And I was like, "No, who's that?" Then they like showed me a photo. I'm like, "Oh, that's so cute." I don't remember, like, is that like a thing on the show? And they're like, "No, we made it up." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then they're like, "He's dating Sweetie Belle." And I was like, "Oh, okay, good to know." And I had no idea, and it's still kind of a thing today, and they've like put him in some stuff too.
that is a purely
That was a
fan-made
fan thing first, and then
it was a
popped into the
fan-made
show.
thing that came up with one of the episodes in season 2, the one during
The Perfect Stallion song.
Perfect Stallion song, yeah.
This
It
guy's
was-
too young. He's on the arcade.
Yeah, it was on the arcade. It was basically that 2-second scene where they saw him playing the little game arcade machine, and your character was singing, "This one's too young," and that 2-second scene, they took that concept and just blew out.
Sounds about right.
Okay.
Sounds about like
It's
fandom.
Wow.
it's typical for
Yeah, I had no idea about that, and I was
Yeah.
Kind of what we do.
like 12 or something. When I
Well, even with time, with like I said, these roles that just kind of, can somebody say this? We need, Brian, you're in Mr. Cake in this episode. Can you say this line about, okay, I'll buy your apples or whatever, with the Time Turner? He was called Time Turner at that point and had the cutie mark. And then I was at a convention. Someone said, "Oh, that's kind of cool that you did that first line for this Dr. Hoops character." I was like, "What, Doctor? I was never cast as some role," and then Peter plays him later in an episode. Like, it's stuff that just sort of was created. So it was bizarre. I just said a line for a random pony who, because of the cutie mark they drew on him, became Time Turner, became Doctor Who's. So it's wild how some of this stuff grows within the fandom, and even the animators kind of go with it too.
And
That
also,
was,
every
yeah.
oh sorry,
Go ahead. Yeah.
okay, every fan ever, like, it's so fun because if I don't know any of the titles to any of the episodes, but then if I just ask and I like yell into a crowd, someone will know it. I'm like, "What's the one where it's like that thing happens and the thing," and then they just tell me. And I don't know why, but I
Episode
just
2, obviously.
I
Yeah,
know.
obviously, yeah.
And I never remember it.
You don't have to, because there's
That's
thousands
right.
who do
Exactly,
remember.
I like don't have to now.
But yeah.
Claire,
We're out of
specifically-
time, so. The last question, Ian, does your beard have a shelf life again?
I think this will be the last one that I ever auction. that I can.
You want to keep it?
No, it's gonna go, and
No,
then
but-
it'll be back in a week.
Did you grow this since the last one?
Yeah.
Yeah, hasn't touched it.
Since last BronyCon?
Yeah, no,
Or-
since Chicago.
Oh, Chicago,
Winnie
okay.
City Con.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's. I don't know.
How many times
I
have
mean,
you
it
auctioned
comes and goes, but this is probably the longest it's been. I wanted to really, you know, get
That's
someone
great.
their money's worth at the charity.
Celebrity
I
auction.
didn't want to say celebrity.
Ooh.
Freudian
How
slip.
much would you go for?
Yeah, so whoever shaves it off today is going to have some fun.
All right. Well, thank you for coming, everyone. Thank you
Yes,
so
thanks,
much
guys.
for coming. Thanks, us.
Right.
Now you can eat that.
Hey.